Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello everyone, hope you're having a lovely weekend. Welcome back to another episode of Colney Talk Podcast, a buy-side show. I'm your host Alex, first-time guest, happy to have you here. And to my returning listeners, really glad you're joining me. On this buy-side show, I'll talk a bit about the Arsenal game and then pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who I think were great in the game, and one player I consider the odd one who just had a poor game or not good enough, who just needs to be called out. North London Derby. I guess it has to be said. We all know this. London is red. But also Tottenham's perpetual shadow only serves as a reminder of Arsenal's rightful place. It's not just a statement. No, it's not. It's a fact, engraved in rich history of North London football. And that is what reality is in Premier League as it shows us. And in this game, that's what we see as well. For this game is a somewhat shaky and uncomfortable win for the boys. But in the end, I was super excited with the win and glad that Arsenal just continued to defy all odds, not just against Spurs, but to show an immense maturity at this stage of the season. It's so critical. You all know this. Arsenal lineup, unchanged from last game. Love that. But kind of looking forward to seeing Timber on the bench because it's been a long time coming for him and we can't wait to celebrate him together. Getting into this game, there was going to be a lot of battle and it was an aggressive start to the game for sure on both sides. And a high-tempo game, especially for Spurs because they wanted to make a statement early and get us in some uncomfortable situation. Clearly a big sign on Tottenham's racing to score early in the minutes of the first half, but we had to contain that pressure and manage that. And then Arsenal opened up their own attacking intent, feeding the ball to Saka a lot more because we know the star boy could do a lot of damage there. Tottenham were mostly in possession of the ball with the first shot of Riot, so they really wanted to make the first strike. They regained possession at every turn where we try to push forward. We continue to remain in our defensive third for the most part. And I think Arsenal were prepared for this, making it every man in the back when defending against the ball. And we do that beautifully, playing off the ball. But in this derby, there was a lot at stake. And just throughout all the stats, this is a completely different game. So we just had to bring our A game. And we did a good job of that as well. But a couple of lost ball composures in dangerous areas had us retreating quickly back to our defensive posture when we thought we had cleared the ball and cleared away from danger. So there was quite a rhythm of that a few times in early parts of the game. And I think throughout the game as well. Then first showing of good things for Arsenal in terms of our attack, and Thomas Partey whipped a perfect ball for Odegaard inside the box, breaking Tottenham's backline and a pass to Havertz for a goal, but that was called offsides. I was waiting for VAR check, but you know how that goes. Next, Arsenal suffocated Spurs playing out the back into an ambush to claim possession for a block shot, giving us our first corner. And since we didn't get the first goal called, we surely got this one. An incredible cross from Saka to create an own goal for Spurs, giving us that 1-0 advantage. So we were 1 up, and it was such a great moment. I mean, just seeing those scenes there behind the home fans and every scream and shout and all that, and as soon as the ball went in, it was just pin drop silence. I mean, couldn't have been scripted any other way, and I loved it. Spurs then tried to respond with a couple of build-up combinations, giving them their own first corner, and I suppose that was their way of trying to about the same thing. And they had a close chance of the ball going in as well. Really close. Ben White had a big challenge on his side going against Werner with a foul on Maddison when they tried to, play some link-up combination there. And from that, we should have been now 1-1. We really should have been. But again, with luck on our side. There's nothing but luck here. A free header that could have just gone straight in the net, but it hit the pole instead. I mean, saved by the post again. We've done this. We've had this save a lot of times, and wow, that's all I could say. Definitely loving this luck, and hopefully it takes all through the end of the season. And from that, it was surely a call for us to get on our score quickly and sooner, because Tottenham were pressing and they had two clear chances to pull the game back to 1-1 leveled, and Tottenham on the press picked the ball up in the middle, produced another corner from a far shot, and a second corner from this, and then the ball kind of rebounded within a crowded box with a Spurs player as the last man on the line on the ball to now score. And that was now 1-1, like clearly as it was, but thankfully it was called offside. I will call this luck again because it was inches, I mean merely inches away from it being a call that stood, but thankfully again this was an offside call in our favor. We needed to settle our game with a bit of composure. Haven't gotten 3 breaks yet, and clear breaks for sure. Spurs looking with more momentum on their side in this derby, playing with so much intensity, pushing forward, trying to get that goal that they had tried to create in every way possible as they had gone forward. And from a good defending in Arsenal's box to a clear danger away, the switch of play, giving Saka room to just dart forward, and Havertz found him and connected with a cross, giving him the freedom within Spurs box to just punish them. And indeed, he punished them with a second goal, like a beautiful goal, absolute scenes. Saka was just deadly there. It was amazing, even with 2 defenders there. So that was such a good heads-up play and a quick reaction. But now Arsenal had work to do. Defending with another corner, defending with so much more of the intensity. Even with us being 2-0 up, we had to defend like we had done nothing because we knew what this game was about. It wasn't, the score sheet helped, but it's not all written until the final whistle. And still in defending mode, the next series of build-up for Spurs at the edge of our own box, we effectively clamped down with nothing to give away. I think it's safe to say at this moment, anything with Arsenal playing in their attacking flair would be so much of a display of taking away Tottenham's spirit. But they were playing at home, they had a crowd in their back, and they had a lot of that push to stay on, and they continued doing that, which in turn made Arsenal continue defending, and defending they did. Arsenal's sign of attack was their instinctive defender from Declan Rice and Big Gabby. Mostly they did a lot of that. They ensured the ball traveled from the direction from the side to stay in front, to having everyone back behind the ball. And that was very effective. And from one of our best build-up play, I was amazed how Havertz and Odegaard danced away from Tottenham's gang press to push on to Trossard, giving us another corner. And from that, another brilliant set-piece play of a corner, and we get our third goal from Havertz. Like, amazing. In just short burst of plays in the first half, we're already 3-0 up. What a quick turn of events. Starting from our first goal that was cancelled to a couple of chances that they didn't have, and the goal called off from them. And now we see ourselves 3-0 up. I mean, that was dagger. A really quiet crowd. All I could hear was, everywhere they go, everywhere they go. And you could see clearly in this game, this is where they're going. So, I mean, we just owned everything up to this point. I think Arsenal had to defend hard throughout this game. Quite an interesting build-up, 3-0 to this point, and yet a lot of defending. And not a bad change of gameplay for us, because even though we had this lead, we know there was going to be a lot in this game to do, and defending was top of the list. And it wasn't a bad change of scenery, but it takes a whole lot of wind out of you in constant defending and staying right on high full end concentration. So not an easy task. And we had to do a lot of that to contain a lot of our forced errors, which credit to the way they pressed us, but we managed that effectively for the most part. And Spurs tried their best to isolate Kulusevski with Tomiyasu, but Arsenal moved as a unit, and it was a red brick wall at every moment when we were off the ball and we moved back into our box in and around the edges as well. And one of the other chances was from a cross splitting Big Gabby and Saliba, but there was nothing there because we effectively closed it down. but it was a good chance nonetheless. We were put in a very uncomfortable situation, unable to grow momentum, and had to steadily manage that flow of game where, as we try to go forward, every third or fourth Arsenal passes that we had was intercepted, and then we run back into containment mode to defend after we got dispossessed. So we dealt with that a lot, and a lot for us to manage in the first half. With this, though, it's just a reminder that we were 3-0 up. I was very pleased, but it's very, very hard for anyone to just ignore the fact that they made things really uncomfortable and unsettling, and a sign that they could really get back into the game. Because so 3-0 just felt like 1-0, and it clearly looked like that. Defending our box, it seemed Tomiyasu was either the vulnerable side, to me, the way I saw it, or that was Tottenham's strongest side. And I think that was really the case where that was the strongest side of how they would flow through the ball. And another corner for Arsenal to defend, and again. And we continued doing that, and really that was the end of the first half. Second half, from a free kick as we started the game, Tomiyasu had a free header, but wasn't able to just hit it clearly to the bar, so it just went above. Tottenham's press was still on as they tried to do something to go into the game, but I think at this level of managing all that they had brought up from the first half, we kind of taken away a little bit of that steam that they had. We absorbed a lot of that, and Riot did clear a lot of those crosses and shots coming through. And within the game, the amount of diving Spurs we're having. I mean, we know you suck, but playing scared to catch a penalty, I guess I'm giving them too much credit to play as a team, but oh well. And on the other hand, we could have gotten a fourth goal from Havertz pullback for Saka, but was blocked. So that was it. And then Ben White's defending had been elite. I mean, first he was going against Werner, and now going against Ben Johnson. And with that, I mean the pace that he had to defend, and the composure with these two players, with their profile based on their swift movements and how they try to drive into the box and things like that. So that was enough for Ben White to handle, and he did that really well. It was clear we were up for the fight in this game. I had to adjust my view as well, because Arsenal, in a way, would just show their effect on the game by nullifying some of the chances, but doing a lot of blocking. And with the series of chances that we had, when we had it, we took it, and it gave us a little bit more distance. And playing in this enemy territory, away from home, in their ground, we had to absorb as much pressure that they put on us, and we took quite a lot of that in the first half. And then going into the second, it was just that now where we were comfortable with all that they had thrown at us. And we did that enough to keep a distance, to control the tempo when we got on the ball, grow into the game, managing that. And then we got our first sub, and that was quite early in the game. I don't know if that was weird, but you can call that a tactics. And then we had started making things worse for us. The first actual mistake that cost us, and that was Ryer giving away the ball for a first goal. Oh dear. And then that gave Tottenham the energy they needed to fight back into this game. That was a gift. The gift kept on giving, because that goal gave them more of a fighting spirit back into the game, because we had taken their soul away, taken everything, to now really just holding into the full driver's gear and getting it like full off. And we had to do something to take the sting out of the game from them following that mistake. And we managed that. We kind of put a little bit more away from them, but we weren't consistently effective against their press, losing the ball a bit more. And then with that, getting to have Raya now, aggressively do a lot of clearances. And that was good. And then some more bombing down on the left against Tomiyasu. I think up to this point, they hadn't really gotten the isolation that they wanted to get with Tomiyasu, but it was defending all the way. 10 minutes left. It was looking good even after the mistake. And then from another full court press from Spurs looking to climb back into the game, they managed to get a penalty. It's just very unfortunate. And then now brought the game down to 3-2. So As I said, the 3-0 lead felt like a 1-0 lead. And now we're here 3-2, defending just that one goal differential. And now it's tough. And if you thought the pressure wasn't high enough at this point now, it was a pipe bursting pressure for the last few moments of the game. So it was now Kivior in for Odegaard to do the most in terms of Arsenal ultra defending. And that's what we did. We held on from there, from set pieces, a few more corners, and they had a slight chance from that in our box. But was cleared away quickly. And in the dying minutes, we dug deep with a couple more corners, and then we defended all the way. And defend is all you just know Arsenal did for this game, and it really paid itself. And that was it for the final whistle. Huge sigh of relief, like a lot of that. And that was it for the derby. We had done the job, and we came in as we expected to perform. It was a defensive battle for Arsenal. It was clear to me we had to play a different kind of game, and more importantly, be lethal in front of goal. That was the big advantage we had to do, and it gave us more confidence even when we were disjointed with our passes in our passing game, acknowledging the pressure that we had to deal with when we were on the ball. So that was a lot of credit to the team. All right, moving on to my top 3 Arsenal players. First man, Rice, sweeping machine in the middle. A solid workhorse to give Saliba and Big Gap the right amount of focus in each radius of space they had in what they had to do when they were defending. Unfortunate penalty situation, but that's from a blind spot defending, and it happens often. I hope he learns from it, or if there's some tactics of what he could do, or any player for Arsenal in terms of defending in those kinds of moments, hopefully that helps. Second man, Saka, the offensive force of this team and in this game, bringing about the own goal and his solo goal. He could have had a third goal, making it a fourth goal as well for Arsenal. The star boy was amazing. He was great. His influence, as we know, was just top notch, and caused chaos there on the right. And rightfully so, he was the player we needed to feed the ball more before trying to get Trossard or Martinelli late in the game to contribute as well. Third and final player, Havertz. Nice goal and all-around play in this game. His intelligence, as you've heard me allude as much, so just so pleased with that. And his connection to get us in the attacking form was huge, really huge. I mean, really contributed in trying to get us that fourth goal there. He played clean. I'm crossing my fingers for him to stay that way without getting any more yellow cards for the remaining games. I mean, we have 3 more, so I'm just hoping he does that. But yeah, really great from Havertz. For today, though, my odd one, and I do have one, yes, that's Trossard. I know that it was his play that led to the corner for the own goal to give us that first goal for Arsenal, but I mean, that's some credit to him, but after that, I couldn't see his influence when on the ball or off the ball. We needed more from him. I needed to see more from him. I think that's part of his game that needs more work in terms of playing off the ball and defending. He does that in some of his own fashion and turning that to some quick switch of play for a counterattack. But in actual digging deep Arsenal brand defending, I think that's where we need to see some of that grow, or at least for him to learn. It's a shame to me to not have seen more of his playmaking performances, despite what we were up against in terms of Spurs' pressure. But I knew that he could handle that, and in some other day, in some other way, we also see a different kind of Trossard, and he would have a big baller performance. But today, here's the play I'm calling out. It's another big win, folks. Another big win. 3 points. That's exactly what matters and counts, and enough to be absolutely proud of this team. I really am, and I'm so glad we did that. Now we prepare for the next one. 3 games to go. Nothing, absolutely nothing is given. We just have to go take it. Okay, I'll leave you here for now. Talk to you all real soon. Take care.